Hello and welcome to the In the Money Players podcast. This is our show for December 5th, covering the racing of December 6th. On YouTube, you will be hearing all about my analysis of the late pick 5 on Cigar Mile Day. If you're listening, we're going to then have Alex Henry come in to talk about the JRA action late Saturday night into Sunday morning. Doing things a little bit different. Schedules got confused. JK was originally scheduled to be with me today, but schedules didn't align in the end. So I'm going solo, what we call the old Matt Bernier style here, how he used to do it. I always marveled at how he could talk and be compelling for as long as he did on the Matt Bernier shows back in the day, the thing that really launched our In the Money Media YouTube channel. Speaking of which, encourage you to subscribe. Also want to let you know if you're interested in much more on this Cigar Mile Day card, our team over at the Gallop Out has you covered on that one. You can go over to the Gallop Out YouTube channel, or that show will be in the regular In the Money media feed as well. Andy Serling and Nick Tamero joining Ryan and Jackson for that one. But I did want to give my thoughts on these races as well, and I'm excited to do so. I'm also going to be referring here at times to some written content I've provided. I do have a full write-up of the Cigar Mile over at atheraces.com. I would imagine we'll link to that as well in our free In the Money Media newsletter. Looking to do more with the newsletter in the new year. You definitely want to be subscribed to that if you're not already, as more exclusive content is going to be coming down there, hopefully including some more of Drew Coatney's lunch plays. He did that. He brought that idea to the fore. Hasn't been able to keep up with it. It's hard. I think that's going to be the kind of thing that pops up when he has time to do it. But that's just one of the many things you can get in the free newsletter. You also, of course, just have the opportunity to get links to all the different stuff. These days, some stuff is podcast exclusive. Some stuff is audio exclusive. Some stuff is just written. All the free analysis we have over at inthemoneypodcast.com. But if you just want to follow one thing, I'd say that newsletter is a good way to go. Check that out, inthemoneypodcast.com/email. We're also going to do an Inner Circle show. If you're a member of the ITM Inner Circle, you'll be able to see that tomorrow. Post scratches, we'll get a group of us together, and we're going to grind on maybe trying to make a ticket here in this late pick 5 on Cigar Mile Day. I've had historical success. A funny thing as a horse player, there's certain days I go back, I look at my records, go through my memories. Certain days we typically do well. And this is one of those days. Last big Saturday in New York, Travers Day, another one comes to mind. Inner Circle members will fondly remember the nice ticket we cashed there. I'm not going to force it, but if it aligns, if opinions align, we do have some Inner Circle money left. We're going to take a shot at that. If you want to get involved in the Inner Circle, you can join annually, and that would obviously you join now. That'll carry you right through all the special stuff we have for Derby and Breeders' Cup. inthemoneypodcast.com/plus. It's the top tier of plus, essentially, and it's well worth it. If you're going to do an annual subscription, you might as well just go ahead and pay the little bit extra, be part of those Inner Circle shows. We're going to have contests and other fun things, as well as the bet share and these Inner Circle shows on a lot of the big Saturdays. Once again, inthemoneypodcast.com/plus. But enough business. Let's get to these races. Starting off with race number 7. We are going the 1-turn mile here for a first level allowance race at the Big A. And there's a big figure horse we need to start off by talking about that is going to attract a lot of wagering attention, and I'm not going to be against. That's just because number 6, Life and Times, has run a huge figure. And more importantly than just running a huge figure, this is a huge figure that's been backed up by what horses have done subsequently coming out of this race. So when you see that type of thing, you go back here and you look at that race on November 1st. Salvation who was second, came back to run a 94 in there. Who ran in the next start, who ran a 93 in the Life and Times race. Time to Win actually went plus 10 on the figure scale in winning subsequently. Love Him or Liam, farther back in the field, was plus 14. And even the last place finisher, Bermuda Triangle, was plus 15. So I fully expect Life and Times is the real deal. Obviously, first time against winners, never the easiest thing in the world. But this is a horse who I think probably has the speed to just control this thing. I will have one backup. If it goes wrong for Life and Times, I'm guessing it'll be because it's a pace burn-up. And if it's a pace burn-up, I think that number 2, Wait List, is the interesting alternative. I will include him for something as the best closer in a race with a lot of speed. But this is not one where I want to use those two equally. If I'm putting together tickets using the pro player percentage tool that we use to make our inner circle bets, it's, excuse me, probably 80% life and time. See, it's hard when you talk all the time. You don't, when the other person talks, you can usually swallow the hiccup, but here I'm just giving it to you loud and clear. Apologies for that. I'm not going to edit it though. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the race that kicks this thing off. Let's get to this 2-year-old filly New York Stallion Series race that goes as race number 8. Unlike a New York bred race, this one, the stallion has to be in New York. One of the reasons to breed in New York is to be able to have horses who can participate for a big pot. And you go through here and you can understand why that can be very appealing. This was a race where I was going to spread. There's 4 runners I have currently listed. I'll call the top 2 the A's, and then I'll mention a pair of B's as well. On top, I was going to go with the 8 runner Braver Than You Believe. And this is one where, just a subtle thing, but I really like the way the pace line looks on Timeform US. I like to see a horse that shows sort of a faster pace number early, can settle in the middle part of the race, and then finish again. This was actually, funny enough, one of the things that put me on to Sovereignty very early on. I'm not saying that Braver Than You Believe is going to be any Sovereignty, but just an example of a line that looks good anyway, and then you can say, hey, you know what? Maybe there's more to come from this one. I thought the race might be run to suit as well. I wanted the 8 as my top choice, Braver Than You Believe. The 12 runner, Daniela Marie, I like as well. This horse I could see emerging as the best speed. I don't think will necessarily be on the lead the whole time, but I think it's going to be up there in the vanguard. This one, a double flow move up. In other words, both races on the lead, running inefficiently fast. That's both according to our friends at racingflow.com and on Timeform US. You can see those red numbers in the pace line indicating that. Now, if she does what she's done the first 2, she's probably going to just burn out, especially going this extra furlong. But if she can settle, I think she could really make an impact on this race. And I like the outside draw going this 1-turn mile, maybe a chance to get in position, get in an attacking position just off the actual speeds. I think this one has a chance to improve just based on the fact that she's running efficiently. If she can run more efficiently, she'll win this race. 2 others I wanted more as B's. The 10, Hot Currency, I was going to keep in the mix. Thought both those runs at Saratoga were a little bit better than they looked. And then that was a very solid, if unspectacular, maiden breaking win with a competitive figure. This one's on a nice pattern and just fits on figures, not one that I want to get beat by, and goes with every chance. The 1 runner, very usable on the figures, and one, I'm enough of a figure monkey, as I like to say, that I'm going to include figure horses like this, even though there are things I don't like in the pace line. I don't like that she was downlining. Those pace figures got slower late in 2 runs going shorter, now going farther. It could be a long day, especially down there from the inside. But again, just on the figures, I'm not going to be a hero. This is one I want somewhere. 8 and 12 on the top line, 1 and 10 on the B line for me as we move to the Remson stakes. Now, the Remson, I did not do a horse-by-horse write-up of, but I do believe that I did a pretty good job analyzing the key contenders back when I wrote my piece for In the Money Plus. That, of course, now that I'm looking for, I'm struggling to find. But I did that Derby Future piece for In the Money Plus, and so I'll just go over some of what I wrote there. But I'll give you the important part first. I think that key line is going to be the Paladin race. So I had Paladin as the top pick, Renegade as the second choice. I think that race was fast. I think that's going to be the key line. But then I did also certainly see the case for the 6 runner Courting, and also the 11 runner in this spot, Talking. So we'll talk about them in order, starting off with Paladin, who, as the favorite, I'm not 100% sure. If I'd seen David's line before I made my picks, I may have flipped these top 2, to be honest with you. But ultimately, I went with the idea that Paladin was one in my verdict for my Derby Future piece. I put as my one on my short list. Now, if I'm shortlisting a horse for the Derby Futures, I'm probably supposed to use what I wrote in that piece. Lots of positives in this one's corner. From the Stellar Blood, the Gunrunner Tappet Cross, to the nearly $2 million price tag, to the All World Connections, Chad Brown and Coolmore. The debut run was strong, proving best of speed at a mile before just going down late to Renegade, that was eventually awarded the race by the Stews. It'll be interesting to see if those 2 face off in the Remson, which they are. You'd expect improvement from Paladin as a second-time starter, and he's at least a little appealing at the morning line future book odds of 40-1. I rated as an 86 plus on my ability figures that I went ahead and put in that piece. So that was my rationale there. But you can easily see the case for Renegade over him. First race, it was in that fast, it's our time maiden win. Third, beating a city block in there. Came back to run very well, just to be DQ'd for the interference against Paladin. Great bloodlines here as well into Mischief Curlin, and has already shown professionalism and the ability to close in a modest pace. Paladin may or may not have more upside, but Renegade is an interesting Derby contender as well at this stage. Hopefully, we're going to learn more in the Remson. I rated this one an 86. So, I let that plus mark in my ability figures move things around. But if David's right and it's 3-1, 5-1, it basically put him in either order, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I also had stuff to say about courting. We talked about this one too. We talked about this race, in fact, on the Baby Talk show I did with Cormac Brannock, worth listening to as well. But really the main angle on courting is this is a horse that's supposed to improve with the 2 turns. Really like the uplining finish in that maiden win, every sectional getting faster throughout the race. And the bloodlines here, $5 million purchase. Clairiere is the sister, if you remember her. She's a little slow compared to those other 2, but she's supposed to improve for the 2 turns. Doesn't seem like one that it would be wise to get beaten by. And then the 11 runner Talkin, I wanted to put in there as well. This was the one. This is one of these races you can kind of read either way, right? This was out of the very fast Napoleon Solo race. We don't have a great line on that form. You could argue, well, Napoleon Solo just blew them away and Talkin picked up the pieces. Maybe, but Talkin's a horse that had already run well before the Champagne, then has a fast figure to back it up, has that stakes experience against these horses who have just, been running in maidens. Really just another one I thought it was foolish to get beat by at this stage. And I think the way I'm constructing this ticket, I can use them both more as B-type contenders. So that's how I had that one. I mentioned about the Cigar Mile. I did my full write-up there over at theraces.com that you can find. It was interesting. This was another one where if I'd seen David's morning line, I may have done something a little bit different. I was thinking Bishop's Bay would be a multiple of the price of Phileas Fogg. David had them, I think, 9-5 and 2-1. That close, you could really argue this one either way. But the verdict I wrote in that piece to give you a little preview of it. At the likely prices, I'll take a shot with number 7, Bishop's Bay, hoping that he can settle in just behind the speeds and make a move on the sweeping turn for home over a course and distance where he's been impeccable. Number 6, Phileas Fogg, the main danger. I'm going to box those 2 in an exacta as well. I feel like you can maybe take a lock it up approach here. And this is one of the reasons why I do like this sequence. 7-6, 6-7, that kind of thing there in race number 10. We close it out in race number 11, another race where we're going to have a sizable favorite, big figure maiden here with number 2, Parker Boone. This horse was very impressive in the lone out, and I don't see any reason to be wildly opposed. Let's put it that way. That 77 figure stacks up pretty well for this field, playing for the $500,000 that is assembled. The son of Solimini in here. Now this one, the merits are just obvious. I mean, he's a big figure horse who has speed, and I could easily see justifying the favoritism, but this was one where I definitely wanted to go a little bit deeper. And the 2 that I kept coming back to were from a sharp outfit, knows a little something about winning on this circuit too, in the Ferraro barn. I think it's interesting that there's 2 here, and they both have credentials as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Muscle Shoals looks slow with those 2 runs at Fairgrounds, but Anthony Ferraro, we've seen him do this before, shipping in horses from Finger Lakes that are theoretically a bit slower, and they can step up. So just the fact that this one had that stakes win, has won 2 races. I mean, these to me, this to me is a horse that could step up and maybe get a stalk and pounce type trip if the favorite doesn't deliver the goods. The other one I wanted to mention is 20-1 on the morning line. Maybe I'm out to lunch on this one, but I liked Hey Pal's last run a lot. Extended to the mile there. This is 7 furlongs today, but really stepped up when stretched out in distance. And I like the line, the pace line, start slow early, still able to make the lead, finished off the race well. I mean, gosh, the horse was 1-2 at Finger Lakes in a maiden. Supposed to be a big price. But I thought this horse had an opportunity, maybe coming from farther back, looking at the early pace figures going longer. Maybe if they use any team tactics, Muscle Shoals will be more tactical. And maybe Hey Pal's a one who could come running late. I could have that backwards. It could be, Hey Pals, they send hard, and that's going to make it probably a difficult. But in any case, I thought both Ferraro runners had chances. In the tickets, this is a race where on the Inner Circle show, I'm going to be extremely open to other ideas. So there you have it. That's what I think about this this late pick five on Cigar Mile Day, last graded racing day in New York. Got to remember, twinspires.com, our friends over there, have a contest you're going to want to get involved in on this one. Go to twinspires.com, navigate over to the tournaments tab to see what they have there, and make sure you check out all the other stuff we have on this great day of racing through our friends at the Gallop Out and the Baby Talk show I did with Cormac on the In the Money Media Network.